everyone. This is a special episode that we compiled from our recent coverage of Stanbic Bank Zambia at the 30th edition of the Africa Mining Indaba in 2024. In this particular episode, you will see us speaking to the Chief Executive Officer, Mwindwa Siakalima, and the Head of Corporate Investment Banking, Helen Lubamba, who give us some insights on the sidelines of various activities that they were attending at this 30th edition of Mining Indaba. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is day 2 at the Investing in Africa Mining Indaba here in Cape Town. My name is Clarence Chongo for Financial Insight, and I'm sitting here with the CE for Stanbic Zambia, Mr. Mwindwa Siakalima. Mr. Siakalima, welcome to day 2 Mining Indaba with the Financial Insight show.
Thank you very much, Clarence. Thank you.
Indeed. Okay, so day 1 was yesterday, and our President, His Excellency Hakainde Hichilema, he gave a speech to the conference where he was selling the country and showcasing Zambia. What are your thoughts about the message that he was bringing to Indaba?
Yeah. To summarize it in 2 ways, invest with confidence.
Absolutely.
So investing in confidence basically, I think, is basically saying there's an enabling environment. I think that was a core that was very clear. There was a lot of focus around the fact that there's a lot that has happened in the few years. So I think the first time we had the president actually visit the Indaba was 2 years ago. I think the last 2 years, which is in 2022.
Yeah.
And at that point, we also had the government come up with the 3 million tons of copper as what we need to achieve in
As a
10 years, as a
10
target.
years, yes.
In 10 years. So it's 8 years now to that target. And basically, I think we've seen that there's a lot of investments that has come out from the things that have been happening. I think there's billions of dollars that have been pledged, and we've seen things that to move northwest of Zambia. There's a lot of investment that has been pledged, and we've seen things move in that direction. There was also the fact that we were looking at the old copper belt in terms of just bringing back, revitalizing that side of the country, and we've seen announcements recently that the 2 major mining houses, in terms of the production, coming back online, the way it used to be in the past, is basically, I think, in train in the next sort of few months, and I think closing out some of those issues will then get us back on track to ensuring that we achieve that outlook of 3 million tons in the next 8 years. So it's basically building blocks. It's making sure that there's a call for investment. I think that was very clear. A call for external investments to come and invest. But also, I think there's a lot that was discussed about inclusive growth. So inclusive growth meaning that, yes, there's investment, but there's also the fact that there's growth of the SMEs, as well as creating value add to what is being mined. So value addition is key, I think, in the messaging that we heard yesterday. And I think it's basically talking and going back to what was discussed even 2 years ago around the EVs, electric vehicles, and battery manufacturing. So we've got, I think, as a country, there's your cobalt, manganese, lithium, as well as copper itself. So I think lots of achievements that have been made in terms of the pledges in investment, but also opening up that investment to fruition. And we've seen those announcements come through from the mines themselves in the recent past year.
Obviously, this is day 2 now.
Yes.
At the Indaba, and clearly, as we've seen, there's been a lot of discussion, fora, and buzzwords coming out like positive disruption, beneficiation. What are some of the key topics that you've picked out so far at this Indaba?
So I think one of the big ones is obviously, how does technology assist in terms of growth of the sector? How does it shorten the life of exploration? I think that was announced yesterday. We heard of AI being used in terms of exploration, and large, ore bodies being discovered. That's very key. That's an important aspect. Shortens the life of investment to then investors then getting their return and investing even more back into the economy. So technology being used as a stepping stone to even greater investment is really what appeals to us as well. I think these are novel things that are being done and very important. That I think as a country we focus on just learning more and more around how we can make use of technology to do things quicker, and that's a key thing. So other than that, the other thing I think that has been top of mind is how during the last one or 2 days, this is the end of day 2, is how do we support the growth? So there's production of mining itself, but how do you support the growth of this revolution or disruption, positive disruption that is right in front of us? So support will basically come from infrastructure that then is enhanced. So we're talking about road and rail. I think rail, we've heard of the Lobito Jimbe into Solwezi or the northwest side, and Chingola actually. So it's basically, I think, understanding how PPPs can then be part of that equation, as well as participation of institutions such as ours. So very important that infrastructure is the bedrock of enabling that there's no bottlenecks, right, in this whole discussion that we're having. The other part is electricity production and distribution. So very key. Energy is important in the growth journey that we have. And the other one I think we've already talked about, which is manufacturing base, as well as the other side of things, which is the SME, to sort of just complete the circle.
I think in terms of the return side that's coming from mining, I mean, the clear contribution, it's a contradiction between an activity that's seen as environmentally value destructive, but also necessary in order for us to meet the green agenda for the planet. So those are the returns that are clear in terms of the mining contribution to the environment and to the green agenda. So on this earth, you either mine it or you grow it. So the mining piece is going to be very critical to that. And some of the opportunities that are coming through are also improvements in technology. And we've seen quite a lot of that happening over the last 2-3 decades. So for example, mining in Zambia, we've got a lot of tailings dumps, which, when I was growing up, you could see them glowing at night. That's where they would tip the stuff, and it was just considered rubbish because they'd done what they could with it. But now that has become such a valuable commodity. With technology, you're actually getting higher grades in those tailing dumps, which you don't need to mine anymore. You just need to go and refine them better than you're getting from some of the mines that we have. Zambia, for example, can be one of the biggest producers of copper, but are we the largest consumer of it?
Hello everyone, this is Mwindwa Siakalima, on day 3 of the ongoing Mining Indaba in Cape Town, South Africa. And with me to have an interesting discussion following her panel discussion at the Invest Africa Aeon breakfast is Helen Lubamba, who is from Stanbic Bank. Morning, Helen.
Good morning.
How are you
Good morning,
today?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, so it's day 3 and you've just come out of a fantastic panel discussion. What was the panel discussion all about, and for the sake of our viewers, and what were some of your key takeaways?
Okay. It's day 4 for me because I was privileged to be able to attend the ministerial symposium on Sunday, which apparently always precedes the Indaba, so that was fantastic. And I think the key running theme, which we picked up on the panel discussion today, was also talking about risk returns for mining on the continent. What are the risks? What are the returns? And then how is innovation aiding the race for getting the critical minerals? And what role do funders see themselves playing, or how does innovation play a role in the way funding institutions look at supporting the mining industry? And then, of course, conversations, excitement around the big cobalt metals discovery that we've had in Zambia that was announced a couple of days ago. And I think this has been a fantastic format and venue to make that an announcement. And I'm sure that they've known about it for a few days, or at least a few days, maybe weeks. But this is a great forum to come and make the announcement. So looking forward to hearing more details about that. But it actually talks right on point to this discussion point, is what innovation can do in terms of accelerating and with little destructive impact on the environment for us to get to the critical minerals, which is aligned to the agenda that Zambia has for mining production agenda that we have. And all this plays a role in the betterment of our people, whilst also preserving our environment and making sure that mining has a role to play, not just economically, socially, and as well as looking after the environment in Zambia and beyond.
This is a special networking breakfast for all of us to interact, to meet, to get to know each other, and basically, I think, forge relationships further into the future. And I'd just like to thank you, our clients. I would like to recognize your clients that are here, and recognize the captains of industry that are here. And thank you very much for coming. So we're excited to be back to participate at the 30th edition of the Investing in Africa Mining Indaba, being held here in South Africa this year. The theme, obviously, which you all know, embracing the power of positive disruption, a bold new future for Africa mining, is what has been themed out for this year. And with this theme, we are encouraged as Stanbic Bank to be part of the Indaba. The aim of this year's Indaba is basically to encourage and support the much needed change and disruption that the African mining industry needs to embrace in terms of the expanded productivity for a net zero future. With advancements in technology, health and safety, environment and exploration, the mining industry finds itself at the early onset of disruption. With any level of disruption, and it is positive disruption that we actually need to be looking at here, there's business opportunities that arise and emerge. And with the mining sector, we know that this disruption basically starts with exploration. And we've seen a number of new things that are coming in the Mingomba area around how that disruption is coming, with AI being used to basically do exploration. Ladies and gentlemen, the Stanbic Bank Zambia as a bank is actually under the Standard Bank Group, and we are proud to be a silver sponsor at this year's Indaba, with a renewed call for further investment in the extractive industry. to unlock its potential, boost economic growth, and sustain livelihoods. We are pleased to be at this year's Indaba, as we are driven by the belief that the financial services sector must play an ongoing leadership role in driving Zambia and indeed Africa's growth through support to the mining sector. At Stanbic Bank, we say Zambia is our home, we drive her growth. On the African continent, we say Africa is our home, we drive her growth. And as such, we recognize that the future of our success as a business in Zambia is tied to the success of Zambia itself. We are therefore committed to maximizing opportunities for sustainable and inclusive growth within the country. With over $2 billion worth of financing made available to the mining sector in Zambia, supported by the Standard Bank Group, we have the required deep country knowledge and mining insights that help our clients navigate the local market and guide them through the ever-changing sector dynamics. Utilizing our in-depth knowledge of our markets, we can help businesses navigate investment decisions. From Stanbic Bank, we'd like to ask that let's make sure that we invest with confidence. I think that came out yesterday as one of the big things that we need to do as a community of investors. And from a Zambia perspective, I think one thing we also don't talk about a lot is the service that is offered by the people that are running these institutions within Zambia. So as you come to invest in Zambia and as you basically work through with the teams that we have within Zambia, I would like to ask that you invest with confidence. With that said, I'd like to just say thank you for making it this morning. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So, day 3 today, it's been obviously a very busy week, and we had the Future of Mining session today, which you sat in. And what are the key takeaways that you took from that session?
Thank you very much for that. Yeah, some of the key takeaways, I'll just talk broadly. I did pick up from the conversation that the panelists were having, and some of the issues were the risks that they have noted. And some of that is the geopolitical risks that are happening in the region and how it's impacting the mining sector specifically. So there's a way of, we have to navigate around that. And of course, the energy security risk is a key one. Because we want to, for Zambia, for instance, we're talking about 3 million tons in the near to medium term. Yes. But what does that mean for security? Mm-hmm. So there's energy deficiency. So there's a security in terms of energy, what we need in energy. And lastly, of course, I think some of the things I picked up was when you look at mining, mining takes years to get to production. Mm-hmm. But in the meantime, you've got the needs that they need to be fed, the beneficiation, the way that I learned recently. Absolutely. In terms of the community, how do they benefit? So governments, there's a dilemma there. Governments are looking at how does it benefit the community vis-a-vis the long term. Absolutely. So those are some of the key issues that came out.
Okay, so being obviously day 3, we've got another full day tomorrow. Yes. What are you expecting this Indaba to have achieved by the end of day 4?
Yes, I think by day 4, this Indaba is 30 years from what I understand now. It's 30 years, it's been held for, it's the 30th one. Yes. So there should be lessons. What are the lessons and what are the key takeaways from it? I think I like what I've heard from the different speakers, not talking specifically to country, but speaking to broadly the region. The region, yeah. That is very important. So as a standpoint, as Africa, how do we stand? What do we want to take away from this? Because we've got different investors coming from the West, the East, but what does it do for us? So we need to get to a point where we get to feel that it's a win-win situation for both parties, the investors and the countries where the mining is being done. So I think that now has to close. We shouldn't be a talk show anymore, but what is really coming out, it should be tangible. Like I can quote the minister who said, how does that benefit the people on the ground? So these are issues that we should not talk about, but we should now feel it. I think actualization of this prospecting.
Hello everyone, it's Mwindwa here in Cape Town, South Africa, and we're currently at the Rockefeller Hotel on day 2 of Mining Indaba. This morning we've just had an opportunity to socialize with the folks at Stanbic Bank Zambia, who are one of our sponsors for the media coverage at the 30th edition of Mining Indaba. And this morning I'm sitting down with none other than Andrew Chibuye, who is the managing partner of PwC Zambia. Andrew, how are you doing?
I'm very good, thanks.
Great
Good to be here.
Great. It's always awesome for us to sit down with you. But we're on day 2
Yeah.
of Mining Indaba, and just yesterday there were several things that happened
Yeah.
that obviously we would love to talk to you about.
Yeah.
First of all, obviously our president gave his keynote address, which
Yeah.
was obviously very powerful, where he positioned the country as a mining destination.
Yeah.
On top of that, Cyril Ramaphosa also gave his sentiments about how important and what opportunities exist in the mining sector. But just tell us from your perspective, what were some of your key takeaways from yesterday's event?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mola. And I think you've sort of covered quite a bit of it. I mean, obviously the opening was quite important. Hearing from His Excellency, the President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, was something notable. And for me, what stood out from there, I mean, he was really, if you listen to him, he had quite a number of examples of inbound investment into Zambia. I think that's fantastic, right? And significant, game-changing projects at significant scale. Some of them announced when he first came to the Mining Indaba, I think that was 2022, and now crystallizing and actually in implementation phase. If you think about First Quantum, I mean, the list was significant. We've tabulated that list. I think now it's in, if you add in the new sort of cobalt sort of estimation after the recent find of $2 billion, you are easily in excess of $6-7 billion of investment. Just generally being in the Indaba, hearing what's happening in other jurisdictions, it's important for Zambia to be here because at the end of the day, it's a very competitive sector. You look at the Zambian events, generally packed to capacity. Everyone is eager to hear what's happening. And I think it's an acknowledgement that they were on the right path and the opportunities are there. But also it's testimony that because of the environment that we're in, especially around the energy transition, that the search for critical minerals is well and truly on, and Zambia is very, very, very important part of that piece of the puzzle.
Pascal, how are you doing?
I'm good, Mullah. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing
Brilliant.
great.
Brilliant.
So it's day 3. You've been here for 3 whole days. What has been your experience thus far, and what are some of the key takeaways of all the conversations and as far as panel discussions you've had an opportunity of attending?
Yeah, no, thanks for that. I've been coming to Mining Indaba for the last couple of years, and I have to admit, it's getting bigger and bigger every year, especially post-COVID. It's gained a lot of ground. Looking at this year's, it's probably been bigger than any other year. And the focus is really, really relevant, especially to Zambia. I mean, we are right there on sort of the critical minerals gateway. If you look at where we sit and the role we have to play as not just from a transportation perspective as a sort of land-linked country, but also the minerals that we have and the role that we're going to play in extracting these minerals so that we can sort of provide a pathway for future development. Zambia is right in there. We need to take advantage. We need to not just ride the wave, but be part of what happens before the wave, whether it's exploration, whether it's some of the socio-economic aspects of mining in terms of how do you integrate the community, how does the community benefit, how does the community not get destroyed, how does the community get built up and participate, how do we train the people so that they don't only participate due to location, but they participate intellectually, right, and so on and so forth. So it's great times, I think. It's great times, and not just for Zambia, it's the DRC and a lot of other African countries. But this conference in the whole, and its focus on Africa, specifically Africa, not just mining in general, but specifically Africa, and the location of where it's held, Cape Town. So it's kind of close to the whole Southern Africa, Central Africa corridor and so on. So it's critical, it's important, and I love the fact that people of diverse backgrounds are coming here, not just miners, but financiers, environmentalists, and everyone, because everyone has a role to play.
Absolutely.
Right? Everyone has a role to play, and if all these roles are played in tandem and in a proper mini weight, right, then success will be had and everyone will benefit. The whole process of getting it right from A to Z, right, should involve everyone. It should involve the guys who are financing exploration, the guys who are doing exploration, all the way to the guys who are doing value addition. It's an open conversation, it's a partnership, and those partnerships have been the basis and the core of the conversations happening here. And so that's, I think, the key takeaway.
Absolutely. Now, Pascal, thank you so much for speaking to us. Martin, yesterday was day one, and we had several things going on. One of them being, the presidential address that actually happened in the morning. But then also there were several other, panel discussions that took place. What were some of your key takeaways of day one, starting with, the presidential address and all the other interactions that you had yesterday?
Well, day one was actually very exciting. I think it just shows that the mining industry is set for growth. Particularly in Zambia, I think the president did show a number of projects that are now taking off. There's a long list, but particularly you see developments that have come up with cobalt, the Mimbula project as well. So when you see CLM as well seeking growth, when you see all these projects, it actually shows that the mining sector is going to grow. We're going to see much faster growth in the next maybe 1 or 2 years to come. So I think it's not just Zambia. There were similar sentiments that we heard from other countries, whether you listen to Tanzania, you listen to South Africa. So it actually shows that the sector all around Africa, Southern Africa as well, is actually going to show positive growth. And that is going to then show increase and growth in other sectors that are related, whether it is in the beneficiation side of things. On our side, as electricity suppliers, we then also have to step up. And as CEC, we're already doing that. We proactively take the steps that are necessary to ensure that the growth that is being sought by the mining sector is able to be supported in terms of power supply and supported in a sustainable manner by providing clean energy.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Martin, we know that we've got a few more days to go out of Mining Indaba. What is your calendar looking like in terms of some of the engagements that you look forward to having?
Oh, it's quite packed. So we actually just have to juggle ourselves between this and that. But we have several meetings coming up. We're meeting several different financiers, investors that want to put their money into the sector. We also have quite a number of mines that are present. Those that would want to receive power supply from ourselves. So we'll be meeting some of those. We met some of them yesterday, and we'll continue meeting them in the next 2 to 3 days that we're still around.
Absolutely. Martin, from Financial Insight, we wish you well for the remainder of Mining Indaba, and thank you so much for sitting down and talking with us.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Firsthand, you've heard from yourself, one of the delegates at this year's Mining Indaba. Stay tuned for more insights from Financial Insights and get to know.